Oh man, we live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. What's really good, family tree? Let me know that you're up in the building with me by simply dropping a comment down below. Let me know if you are tuned in. Yeah, those of you guys said that you wanted to do a show today, and we're doing the show on Kemetic theology versus Hebraic theology. We'll be going through the book of Genesis, Genesis 1, chapter 1 to chapter 2. Up to verse 3 or 4. And we'll be going in there to kind of see the comparisons. Let's just compare, like, how similar is Kemetic thought with Hebraic thought? How different is Hebraic thought from Kemetic thought? We can have a nice conversation on that. We can be very civil, have a nice civil conversation, a big people conversation, instead of hurling insults. Let's actually try to have a nice, good dialogue on this particular topic here. I know some of you guys may be caught up in your feelings, but I'm like, fam, I don't know, man. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if we can't just appreciate other people's cultures and other people's philosophies. Like, I like reading, Roman philosophies. Who do I got? Marcus Aurelius. I love reading Greek philosophies, from the Stoics to the Aristotle's, plus Platonic, plus Neoplatonic. Like, there's so much. Japanese, Chinese. Like, there's so much you could just read and just learn, and just simple things like Japanese was a Kaizen, 1% better every single day. Like, can't we just appreciate another group's, another culture's culture and philosophy? I don't know. Sometimes some people, they say wild things in the comment section. I'm like, wow, that's how I know some people are so uncultured. But hopefully those who are tuned in today are of the cultured lot. I have sent out the link to a few of you guys already. All I'm doing right now is waiting for you guys to just jump in, because we are live right now. For those of you who are just tuning in and want to jump in and have this dialogue, and I haven't sent you a link already, I'm about to send you the link right now with inside of the comment section. And again, I'm still waiting for you guys to just message, say hi in the comment section. We're doing all these shows for you. Trust me, I am tired right now. I've had a long day. My eyes are finished, right? But I'm here doing a show with you guys right now. So if you want to come in and participate, please do come in and participate. I will be going in a minute, but I'm just waiting for you guys to jump in. Jose, where you at, fam? Where you at? I don't even want to inbox you again. So yeah, Matt is up in the building. What's good? Yes. So yeah, let's do this. Let's see. Let me actually go to, I don't know, past comment maybe, and then we can just build from there. Hey, I love Vegeta, Vegeta has dropped something today. Okay, cool. So let's see. Okay, there it goes. So I dropped a post. Is this a comment or a post? Anyways, I've dropped a comment, I believe, and I said here, I wonder, is there a right answer to this question, or are all perspectives valid, i.e. Kemetic theology, were ancient Egyptians monotheistic, polytheistic, henotheistic, panentheistic, and pantheistic, right? And I go through and I kind of tell you what Egyptologists basically saying. Egyptologists have either asserted or argued that ancient Egyptian theology is monotheistic. Some say polytheistic, some say pantheistic, or henotheistic. Personally, I say panentheistic, with the expression of all of the above somehow, maybe. For example, the one who made himself into millions of gods. This is a common epithet of the creator, from which we can glean a form of monotheism. The one, yeah, the one. Yet we see a form of polytheism, meaning millions of gods. Whoa. Whoa. And when they use the term millions, it's not the actual number millions, just it means a vast number, an unspeakable amount. Okay. So which one is it, monotheism or polytheism? One may scratch off polytheism, as none of the millions have a deity, only the one has a deity. For the one made himself into millions, and if the one ceases to exist, then the millions too cease to exist, for they are not independent. Another epithet for the supreme deity is Nebuchadnezzar. And that means Lord of all, or Lord of the extent, or Lord to the extent, Lord to the extent, Lord of all. The deity isn't the all. So if you want to say it's pantheistic, it's not pantheistic, because the universe and the deity is not one and the same. Okay. So therefore it can't be pantheistic, but it's the Lord of all, being transcendent, yet he is immanent, for all is made from him. I could be wrong, which is usually never. But this is why I put forward that they were panentheist. Panentheism is a theological and philosophical concept that posits the divine as encompassing and interpenetrating the universe, while also extending beyond it. Funny enough, within inside of all three of them, Jewish, Christian, and Muslim thought, there is panentheism. It's generally within inside of the mystical thought, although Catholicism actually identify panentheism as well. I think they go through, I think they go through to basically show that Jesus, as well as others, were. 1 second. Kind of wild when you hear other people in your building, when you know that there shouldn't be anybody else here but you. It's kind of wild. Let's see. Anytime you're online live, I'm here. Jeez. Okay. Peace and longevity. Here to do the knowledge to the wisdom. Do it for disseminating knowledge, Kalam. Jeez, I love this, guys. And peace. So I'm just waiting for some of you guys. Easy bands, you said you wanted to come true. Let me just see what's going on. Let me just message a few of you guys just to see what's really good. Where are we? Where is my guy? Jose. 1 sec. Because boy, if y'all ain't turning up here, I am ready to go home. I'm literally only live because of you guys. So hurry up. Oh yeah, and the good brother Ken always wants to come true as well. Let me let him know I'm live as well. Cool. And where's the saw? Okay. Damn, I'm feeling hot in here. Oh man. Oh. Woo. Hold on. Keep hearing pure banging. Okay, man. Cool. Oh yeah. Hi. You think when you're thinking you're the only one. Yeah. So okay, easy bands. Come on, man. We're here, man. We're here. Like the link has been shared. Let's go. Let's go. I have an appointment in like 45 minutes. I can come through for a bit. Let's go, easy bands. Talk to me, King. Here we go. Fam? On Code is up in here as well. What's good?
Hey, man. Like I said, your timing is crazy, man. I was hoping you were going to go live yesterday. But I have an appointment in like 45 minutes. But, we could chop it up for a bit,
Cool. All right.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss the aseity thing, right?
If you want to.
All right, we can dive into all of that, man. Mm-hmm. So you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I was hoping that a few more of my Kmetic brothers would come in because I really want to, get their point of view across. So actually, no, let me start off with you. I just want to know, in terms of just state what you are, what denomination you are as well.
Okay, so I was raised Catholic.
Mhm.
I was raised in a Catholic family, but I would say I'm just Christian at this point. I don't like
Okay,
hold to everything in the Catholic Church, and to me, I just I've settled with just understanding the Bible and going by that.
cool. And
If that
would you say you are?
makes sense to you.
Yeah, that makes sense. So normally everybody would say that. Yes, I'm a monotheist. I just want to know though, are you a monotheist or are you a panentheist?
Yeah, I'm a monotheist, brother.
Okay,
Word.
you
There's
could be a
only one God.
panentheist as
There's
well.
only one God.
You could be a panentheist. Let me just actually do that as well. Actually, let me just bring this up. A nice little Wikipedia for those people who don't know these terms. Do we have Wikipedia? Yeah, we do have Wikipedia. Awesome. All right, let me just bring this up. Present. Let's share screen. Here we go. So, panentheism is all in God. Is the belief that the divine intersects every part of the universe and also extends beyond space and time. The term was coined by the German philosopher Karl Kraus in 1828. Okay,
Can
but
you
we
just
can
repeat
also
that?
see that. Let me go back up to the top. Okay, so panentheism is all in God. Okay, from the Greek, and it goes through it basically. It should be on the screen right now. It should be screen sharing. And it says here, is the belief that the divine intersects every part of the universe and also extends beyond space and time. The term was coined by the German philosopher Karl Kraus in 1828. So we see that in Christianity, there is panentheism as well. So that's why I had to ask you the question, are you simply a monotheist or are you also a panentheist? It says here, panentheism is also a feature of some Christian philosophical theologies and resonates strongly within the theological tradition of the Eastern Orthodox Church. It also appears in process theology, but let me just quickly skip past process theology. It says here, Catholic panentheism, a number of ordained Catholic mystics, and it gives them names, have suggested that panentheism is the original view of Christianity. They hold that such a view is directly supported by mystical experiences, the teachings of Jesus and Paul the Apostle. And then Richard Rohr summarizes this and says here, but Paul merely took incarnationism to its universal and logical conclusion. We see that in his bold exclamation, there is only Christ, he is everything, and he is in everything. If I were to write that today, people would call me a pantheist. The universe is God, whereas I am really a panentheist. God lies within all things, but also transcends them, exactly like both Jesus and Paul. It goes on, it goes on, it goes on. I don't want to like bore you guys with the whole Christian stuff. Gnosticism as well has it. Hinduism has it. Judaism, has it as well. You lot can read this as well. Sikhism has it. Islam over here has it. It's called the Wahdat al-Wujud. The unity of all things is a concept sometimes described as pantheism or panentheism. It is primarily associated with the Asharite Sufi scholars, Ibn Arabi, some Sufi scholars, notably, etc., 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 and also in Ishmaelism as well. So they all have it, right? Whereas monotheism, let's just quickly do that. Monotheism, I'll just quickly do this. Right here, monotheism is the belief that one God is the only, or at least the dominant deity. A distinction may be made between exclusive monotheism, in which the one is a single existence, and both inclusive and pluralism, monotheism, in which multiple gods or godly forms are recognized, but each are postulated as extensions of the same God. And it goes on to talk about, monotheisms, etc., etc. But there was a nice diagram which made it look very simple. Is this it? And it just kind of showed you the differences between monotheism and theism. Yeah, I think this was it here. Can we get any bigger than that? So this is it. You have God in theism, you have God, and then you have the universe. In pantheism, you have God equates to the universe, and in panentheism, the universe is within inside of God, but God is also transcendent of the universe. So yeah, just quickly. Oh no, you can't even see that. Let me just share my screen a bit. Let me see if I can share this tab. There you go. So yeah, theism, you have God is separate from the universe. Pantheism, God equates to the universe. And panentheism, the universe is in God, but God is also transcendent of the universe as well. So those are the distinctions and of each one. Go ahead.
Okay, so my immediate reaction to that would be that Christianity is definitely not panentheistic. We're monotheistic, and it's repeated over and over in the Bible, New Testament and Old. So the people, I don't know what source you read or what scholars those were, but they were reaching, to be honest.
Well, I would say that unfortunately, you can't speak for the whole of Christianity. And, I try to like show the nuances myself because, I can't speak for the whole of Kemetic thought because some of them I've heard say, Kemet is polytheist. Some say it's monotheist. So we'll have to just, show that there are different trends of thoughts within inside of each thought or each philosophy.
But this is the thing, though.
You may disagree with it. You may disagree with it, and that's fair enough. But it does exist within inside of your, the Christendom.
Yeah, but my point is that some things, right, make you a Christian. Some things take you out of Christianity, and suggesting that panentheism or whatever that is takes you out of Christianity. It's you basically reading into the Bible, your own ideas and adding to it. And we've had heresies from time immemorial, and that's why they call it heretics, right? They're kicked out of the church and they're kicked out of Christianity because they're not Christians. They're not following the theology. So there are some things, right? Differences between denominations, etc. But end of the day, the understanding of God is monotheism in Christianity. Anything else is outside.
Okay. I'm not even going to argue with you on that. That's if any Christian wants to argue that point with you, that's fine. But yeah, let's keep on moving forward to where we wanted to get to. I just wanted to do the quick overview. So where were we?
So basically, we're talking about Atum and Nun, right? And then we're going to compare it to Christianity, because you kind of said that there's a parallel with Atum, Nun, and the waters in Genesis. So I wanted to clear that up and show you why there isn't.
I say that they're all parts of the Near Eastern milieu. So a lot of the Near Eastern milieu, they have similar things, right? They all have flood stories, and they all have, these dragons or serpents, and these different forces. So it's all part of it. They're all sharing ideas and influencing each other. So let's go into it though.
So the problem is that you might say that they're part of the same milieu, but the problem is that you actually said you were specific. You actually you basically went to the theology of Christianity, the creation story, and you identified Nun in our creation story, and so that's what I wanted to clarify.
Okay, but let's I don't know. I want to slow down and coordinate Christianity though, because it's part of the Hebraic literature. Okay, it's part of the Tanakh. So you can have a Christian interpretation, but it's part of the Hebraic literature. So let's go into that then. So let's see if I can bring this up. Let's do KJV. My KJV. Let's see if I can share my screen with you guys. Cool. And then we go to Genesis. Okay. So I don't know if you can see my screen right now. So yeah. Tell me what I did and what you disagree with, or what you agree with, or what it is.
Okay, so you basically identified Nun as primordial waters and pre-existent and uncreated in your Kemetic theology, right?
Correct.
Now in the Bible, right there, So let's read it. In the beginning, God created the heavens. God created the heavens. It's supposed to be the heavens and the earth.
Okay.
Right? So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Full stop. Right there, it identifies that God creates everything. Okay? So the waters, now the second part is almost like taking, okay, so we start at God creates the heavens and the waters. The heavens and the earth. The second part now, the continuation after that, it's almost like taking a magnifying glass and saying, okay, now what is inside the earth and the heavens? And you go to, okay, now God's spirit was floating over the waters. That from where, I don't get anywhere from that the waters pre-exist.
Is it me or is your thing just going a bit fuzzy? Let me know. Is it you? Is it me or you that's going fuzzy? Like when you're talking, is it very, very fuzzy? Hello, hello. Oh, you got your mic muted. Easy band. Okay, I'll just take it as you then. So, because I can't hear you if you're talking. Let me know if anybody else can hear him if he is talking. Cool. All right, so we'll do this then, yeah. I think that unfortunately you have a particular reading based upon, God knows what is based upon. A mind died. Okay, cool. Yeah, you got a particular reading, right? It says here, I'll read it how it is. This is not the only reading of this, right? So, but I'll just read it as it says. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This here, commentary-wise, it could be a title. Okay, it's a introduction into what's going on. And it says here, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Okay, so right here is telling you that no earth existed, and there was void, and there was darkness, and then there were these waters yet again, and the Spirit of God was moving upon the face of the waters. So we see here, we have the waters yet again, which is in Kemetic thought, the primordial waters. And then you also have here a primordial water, these waters that were there either, according to you, in the early stages of creation or in pre-creation, right? So the same thing is existent in both. You have a concept of a creator deity. I said it was Atum. Over here in your Bible, it says the Spirit of God. Waiting for you to come back in. But if you don't, that's fine. Talk to me, my guy.
Can you hear me?
Died. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I definitely want to get into this discussion because I think it's personally, I think it's Hebrew cultural theft. Like what's going on here? I think there's a lot of cultural thievery when it comes to Egyptians and Hebrew Israelites. And you can clearly see that, Egyptians and Hebrews got a sort of a love-hate relationship, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot of borrowing from Egypt history, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Can I give you an example?
Yeah, we can hear you.
For instance, when you look at, hold on, give me a second.
Yo, guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So, can I respond right quick?
Hold on.
My guy's going.
Let me finish this. Then you can go ahead and respond. But yeah, there's a lot of comparisons, especially in parallels when it comes to divine kingship, priests, kingship, the belief in monotheism. Egyptian religion had, garments similar to Hebrew Israelites. It's a lot of things that's similar. The barrels, the Son of God concept,
Yo,
even
yeah.
ancestor glorification. So I think there's a lot of cultural thievery going on when it comes to Hebrew Israelites to Egyptian culture.
Jeez. All right. Let's just hold that there for now. Easy Bands, what are you saying?
Yeah, so I was saying, you know, I just wanted to come through and have a quick discussion before I have to leave still. But yeah, so I totally disagree with your reading of that. It makes no sense how you basically switch up Genesis. I mean, it reads clearly, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth are known generally as everything that's in existence, right? So if they created the heavens and the earth, and then we talk about waters after that, that means that the waters were part of the creation of the heavens and the earth. So it didn't say that, oh, God created the planets, the stars, etc., right? Right there in Genesis. It just says he created the heavens and the earth. So logically, anything that's inside of the heavens and the earth is created at that point. And so it goes on to magnify exactly what's going on. And it shows you how God is actually molding things and setting things in, basically creating order out of chaos. Okay, so now let me give you some examples.
So hold on. I just want to make you understand this, right? You do realize, I don't know if you've read any commentary on this particular Genesis 1:1 at all. I don't know if you have, right? But you do realize that God creates the heaven, I believe, on the second day. Let me just quickly go through. Let me just see. And God made, and God called the firmament heaven. Then after he made the heaven, what did he do? And God called the dry land earth. So like there's day, second day, the third day, he created the heaven. Then he created the earth. And then afterwards, so it was like, I don't get what
No.
Get what you're saying.
That's so okay. So basically, let me break it down to you, bro. And can I give you some verses because you want sources, right?
Go ahead.
So let me give you some verses that basically clear this up. Okay. So here's Psalm. Can you put it up? Actually, Psalm 148, verse 4-5. Psalm 148, verses 4-5. So it says, "Praise him, you highest heavens, and you waters above the skies. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created." So that destroys your whole argument right there. We don't even need to go any further. So maybe we could just move to the next point.
I don't get your point. What do you mean?
So did you read Psalm 148, verse 4-5? It's basically saying, right? So the basically the prayer here is commanding is telling the waters and the skies above. Sorry, the highest heavens. So it's saying, praise him, you highest heavens, and you waters above the skies. These are the same waters that you're talking about from Genesis. When it says God created the heavens and the earth, it says Psalms 148, verse 4-5, it says, "Praise him, you highest heavens, and you waters above the skies. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created." That is a clear and direct point that God created the waters and the heavens at his command.
Okay, so I think we understand that, though. It says it in the Bible that he created the heaven. Okay, maybe I'm slow tonight, right? So
let me read it again.
Why is it not going back? One second. So over here, yeah, you're saying that praise him, praise you. For me, he's got heavens of heavens, right? Praise ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens, right? Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created.
Boom. Okay. So you read that, right?
So yeah, we read that. So you're saying to me, like, just so I get you correct. right? That, come on, go back to Genesis 1, please. So you're saying
Bro.
that the heavens of heavens, or the highest heavens, is which part here?
Bro, I'm saying, what I'm telling you right now is that the waters here are being told to praise the name of the Lord because he commanded and they were created.
Okay, so he commanded. So where did he command the waters? Where does it say he commanded the waters
It
in
says
Genesis?
right here in Psalms 148, verse 4 to 5.
I'm
it
saying
says,
in Genesis. In
no,
Genesis, where does it say that?
Bro, listen. It says, that's like asking me, where does it say that God created the stars in Genesis? In Genesis 1:1. That's a fallacy on its own. I don't know what kind of fallacy, but I'm sure that's a fallacy. But anyways, it says right here, Psalm 148, 4 to 5. It says, praise him, you highest heavens, and you waters above the skies. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created. It doesn't get more clear than that, brother.
Okay, so I just want to get you straight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that the Psalms is saying that he created the heavens and the waters in the heavens or above the heavens, right? Is that saying that it's inside of Genesis, or is it just saying as a standalone thing?
As it's saying as a standalone thing, but they're all connected because they all know the story of Genesis.
They all know the story of Genesis. Okay.
The Bible is like it's not something that basically the books are not like unconnected. There's like a chain and a time period going on, and these guys are recording their revelations, etc. They're all connected. They all have prophecies that go together.
Okay, cool. Let me jump in my religious mind then. So we're talking religion rather than academic scholarship. That's what we're doing, right? So I could do that. Okay, cool.
All right. Cool. Before you do that, Kalam,
what's the topic?
Kalam, before you do that, let's talk about this Psalms 148, verse 4 to 5, right here, brother. Don't run from it. It's either you.
I don't need to run. I don't need to run from it. I can see it clearly. Yeah. It clearly. Nope. Let me just go to it right now. So it says what you said, right?
Easy bands. What's going on?
Oh, what up, man? I can't.
Salute.
What's the topic?
Right now we're just going into Genesis 1, but we've jumped over to Psalms to prove Genesis 1 that the waters were created. So these primordial waters, he's saying, is now created or was commanded by God, and it came into existence basically by utilizing Psalms. That's where we are right now.
Psalms 1. So I read along.
Psalms 148. 148. Yeah, verses 4 to 5. 4 to 5. So it says here, praise him. So right here, halal, shamayim, heavens of heavens, and then the waters that says here above, but it can also mean in, right? Let me just make you understand that. It could mean that it's upon, in, on, over, by, for, both, beyond, through, etc. Right?
Above the skies.
It's a preposition.
It's above the skies, bro.
Can it also mean on the skies?
It's above the skies, bro.
Can it also mean on the skies?
In this context, it's above the skies.
Can it also mean in the skies?
It can in a different context, yes.
Okay.
But not in this context.
But not in this context, yeah?
No.
Okay, cool. And then you're gonna have to tell me why can't it mean that?
No, well, you're gonna have to tell me first.
I'm just gonna ask you, like, why
even asking
why
questions when these are the waters, bro?
Why can't it mean that? It's
not
the waters.
Before we start trying to sidetrack, I brought you a verse. You said you want sources, right? I bring you a source, Psalms 148, verse 4 to 5, that clearly and directly shows that the waters were created by God's command.
Psalms 148, 45.
4 to 5. So verse 4 to verse 5.
Verse 4 to verse 5. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Clearly.
Okay, so I will show you what you've done, yeah.
Oh man.
And maybe I'm tired, you know. Well, I'm tired. So what you've done right now is basically jump to Psalms to say now that let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded and they were created. Let me just go into the Hebrew first, just to make sure.
Let me even go. I don't
or
know what's going on right now.
He commanded and they were created. Cool. So you're saying that he commanded the heavens and he commanded the waters and they were created. Okay. And then you're juxtaposing that to Psalms 1, right?
No,
And you're saying,
it's not saying that he commanded them. It's saying he made a command and they were created. It's
okay,
not
so
that
he made a
told
command.
them.
So
There's
now
no
you're
word
gonna,
command in here though.
Oh man.
it's there. Okay. So you're saying that he commanded them. All right. And I'm going to ask you, where does it say that he commanded the waters?
Bro, it doesn't say that he commanded the waters. It says, look, let me read.
Don't even say command. That's
Bro,
all.
let me read it to you again, simply and clearly. This is crazy. It says, "Praise him, you highest heavens, and you waters above the skies." The speaker is talking to the heavens, the highest heavens, and the waters above the skies, right? The speaker is talking to the heavens, highest heavens, and the waters above the skies. Then he says, "Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created." So my point to you is that the waters were created. And why you're saying, "Oh, I'm jumping to Psalms," I'm bringing you proof from the same Bible, from the same Old Testament. I'm
He's
bringing
going
you
in
proof
still.
No,
that God created
that's
the
not,
waters.
Callum, he's
that's
got an argument there.
no,
There's a
no,
preset.
He's
no,
done,
it's
bro.
not. It's
He's
not.
done.
It's not.
You're
Like,
done, fam. Like I
it
don't even
really
so,
isn't.
so
Okay.
He's
you
got an
got Genesis.
argument, not to say that it's the actual factual thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's got an
Okay,
argument there.
cool. So, with this, we're jumping into like biblical talks and being religious with it, right? And let me show you the distinction. Let me give you guys the distinction real quickly, right? Let me give you guys the distinction. We have biblical scholarship where we actually utilize like what's the academics saying about this, right? And then you'll understand, okay, the academics say, you know what, the Genesis story is mixed up with the J and the P's, the Yahwehists and the priestly orders. And, one is created first and the second one is created there. And there's various different creation stories and so forth, right? That's one way of doing things. Then it can show you that, there is actually other creation stories within inside of the Bible, right? That may even be pre-existent and they trace back to the Canaanite religion and the Canaanite area and so forth. And we're actually tracing them back historically. What we're doing right now, okay, which I'm fine with doing this, I'm actually fine with doing this, is being religious, and we're thinking that the Bible is one coherent book, right?
Of course not, Callum. But you've got to remember.
Hold on. I'm finishing. I'm finished, right? It's not one coherent book, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys are under the impression, okay, and this is why sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to have religious conversations because it's long. Some of you guys are under the impression, that this book, Genesis 1, Genesis 2, is written by Moses, isn't it? Hands up if you're underneath the impression that it was written by Moses. Let me know. Easy Bands, was this written by Moses?
Hands up if Kalam is diverting, bro.
No, Easy Bands was
I'm
written by Moses.
I'm just showing you something quickly.
Hands up if Kalam is running.
I'm going straight back into it. I'm going straight back into it.
If Kalam is running.
Hey, Easy
Trust
Bands,
me, I'm going straight back into it.
Bro,
I'm
Kalam,
going straight
just
back into it.
You said bring sources. I brought you a source from the same Old Testament, brother, and it just destroys your argument.
Cool.
And to
yes,
be honest, bro,
you destroyed my argument. You destroyed my argument. Okay, cool. I can see you destroyed my argument. Okay, right, so I'm just showing you there's a difference, right, with doing things academically versus going in and doing things like, the normal how you religious people debate and let's go to this book and pull and show. And I'm like, that's not the type of conversation I was really trying to have today. But if we want to do that, I can play that game.
Wait,
and be cool.
are you listening?
Basically, we're talking about history, historical facts.
I'm actually going to the actual sources.
Look, both of you've got a strong point. Yeah, Callum's got a point. Callum's got a point from the view of Samaritan Jews. Yeah, that only have 5 books. Yeah, they may not view it how you're talking about it, Easy Bands. But at the same time, Easy Bands, you've got a point as well, based on the Bible being canonized. So once it's canonized, there's more teachings and understandings to gain from the book. But if you're talking about the people with just the 5 books, Kalam's got a point as well, because they may believe that the waters was uncreated. We don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
mean,
it's a double-edged sword.
that's just saying I don't know. Like, is that even a fact that you're talking about?
Okay,
So
okay.
let's hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back onto easy bands, right? And let's do it the religious way, because I was hoping that we're gonna have an academic conversation, but let's just do it the religious way, right? So from the religious way, you've jumped to another book with inside of the Bible, the canon, right? And you're saying Psalms is backing up your case that the waters, right, in Genesis 1:2, I believe, right, was created by God, right? That was your proof text to say it was created by God.
Yes.
Cool. Now, my contention with you on that is saying that if you read Psalms 148, it says that he commanded them. Okay.
Oh my God.
Let me read the text again.
Bro,
Callum,
stop. Callum,
hold on, my bro. Go on. I'm gonna let you interrupt.
I need
make a point, but I didn't say nothing.
Finish your thought. My bad.
Cool. So we're going into Genesis. Let me just show you. Can you just mute your mic? Everybody mute your mic, please, so we can just like finish this off real quickly. So over here we got 148, 4 and 5, right? Praise him, ye heavens of heavens. Okay. We're all gonna have different translations. That's why I love going to the Hebrew and just seeing what it says. Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. Okay. Praise ye Lord from the heavens. Praise him in the heights. Praise ye him, all these angels. Praise him, all his hosts. Praise ye him, sun and moon. Praise him, all ye stars of light. Praise him, ye heavens of heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens. Let them praise the name of the Lord, for he commanded, and they were created. He hath also established them forever and ever. He hath made a decree which shall not pass. Okay. Praise the Lord from the earth, ye dragons and all deeps and so forth, right? Cool. So over here, we're saying that all these things, all these things that he's saying praise, he's saying that is created by him, right?
Yes.
Am I correct in saying that?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So you're saying, the heavens of heavens and the waters that you translate as being above the heavens. Yeah.
The waters above the skies.
Above the heavens. Above the heavens. That's what it says here. I'll go in again. And he waters above the heavens. Same word, shamayim. Again, and the preposition al can be both in, on, or over, or above, right? But we're going to go with yours and say it means above the heavens, right? And it says here that he commanded them and they were created, right?
Not that he commanded them. He commanded and they were created. So say I make a command.
He commanded. Yeah, so for he commanded and they were created. Cool. Yes. So now can we go to Genesis 1
and then read what else he said? And he established them forever. Right? Cool. It says that, right? After that.
Cool. Yeah. So
he established them, right?
So he established them, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So now can we show where in Genesis that he commanded and the waters were created?
Wow. Is that the fallacy you're going to, bro? Can you show me in the Bible where, bro, Jesus says, I am God, worship me? Is that what you're doing, fam? When I'm showing you right here that in Psalms, in another verse of another book in the Old Testament, recognized by Judaism and Christianity, it shows you clearly that God created the waters above the skies, above the heavens. It shows you clearly. In Genesis 1, I don't even need to go further than Genesis 1. It says in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Finished. So everything else that you read is included inside of the heavens and the earth, brother.
But easy bands, what you've got to understand is easy bands. I just went
to this verse to get a clear and direct example where it actually shows you that God created the waters that you're talking about.
But easy bands, just remember, it's not academically though, because academically speaking, just remember that though.
No, it's fine. It's fine. He's making a good point, yeah. He's making a good point, and let me just shut it down real quickly, then, yeah.
Can't.
So as you can see, we're talking about the commandments. Okay, these are the I can't remember. I think there is 10 commandments in there. I can't remember the number, but there is a certain amount of times he commands certain things, and then he makes them, and then he says it's good or whatever the case is, and the pattern continues as such, right? So it says over here, let me go to it. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. So this is a commandment, okay? Let there be firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and in the evening and the morning were the second day. So we can see here, right? We can see that there's a commandment being made. There's the heavens being created. And then we can see that the water is being divided.
No. It says he. So listen, it doesn't say right there that the heavens are created. It says the heavens are created. It says in Genesis 1:1, it says the heavens and the earth were created at that point.
Okay.
So everything.
So you do.
So
no, you do like for you, you're reading as such, and as I was saying, like I love when we do like academic work and we realize that this is simply a title. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this.
Academics, brother, you'll be destroyed by the academics, man.
But both
it would even be worse.
Understand, Genesis is not even the first book, academically speaking. So if we're going to talk academics,
it's not. You're right.
So, but that means Easy Bands could be making a point, though.
I'm cooking.
Based on oral tradition.
I'm cooking.
Based on oral tradition.
And there's more verses to show you that.
If it was the first book, Kalam's making a point, but it's not the first book.
Even if it was, but bro, even if it was, it shows you right there that in Genesis 1:1 that God created the heavens and the earth. And then you read everything. It says in the beginning, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then it talks about everything that's in the heavens and the earth and how he molds it into position.
Yeah, no, it's a title. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and earth.
Real quick. Can I ask a question right quick? Easy Bands, do you think this is like scientifically true? Like, do you think like this is like reality that
100%?
It's low key the Big Bang going on. If 100%. You can read it in a certain way, it's the Big Bang going on.
So science was wrong and the Bible's correct.
But the science talks about the Big Bang, though.
Exactly. I never said that.
Well, hold on. Science is different from the religion of the Bible.
But science talks about the Big Bang. If you read
Bereshit, hold on. Let's just have one mic.
Come on now.
Let's have one mic at a time, right? We're gonna have everybody in. We're gonna have everybody in a minute, right? So let me just do this, right? Over here, the opening phrase of Genesis 1:1 is traditionally translated in English as "In the beginning, God created." This translation suggests creatio ex nihilo, creation from nothing. The Hebrew, however, is ambiguous and can be translated in other ways. The NRSV translates verses 1 and 2 as, in the beginning, when God created the heavens and earth, the earth was a formless void. This translation suggests that earth in some way already existed when God began his creative activity. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just showing you that there is, when you read the Hebrew.
Hold on. Can you repeat that? You said in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth. Is that the difference that you said? When he created? So he still created them at a certain time.
Of course he did.
Okay, so what are we arguing about?
Cool. I'm showing you that
according to the Hebrews, that's what they believe. So
I mean, so I'm showing you that there is different translations to what you're reading. You're reading it one way, which is cool. Like that's one form of interpretation, right? Where you can read it as simply that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And now that he just created everything at once. He created the heavens and earth all at once. Or there's another reading where in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, right? That's another way of reading this. Okay.
Or if you look at the Gnostic text, it also says something different as well.
What does it say?
So yeah, there's different versions of the text.
So what does it say? What does it say?
What, the Gnostic text?
Let me.
Yeah.
So let me just finish this with you let me just let you know, yeah. Cool. Like you believe that, okay, so your whole argument then, yeah, is that where it says in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. He created everything in just that one statement there, right?
You said sorry that I believe that one statement. Okay, I believe that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Whether it's in the beginning when God created these things, it's still in the beginning, and it's still Him creating the heavens and the earth. So it doesn't matter where
Cool.
else you want to take it, because
Cool.
our
So
initial discussion was about, did God create the waters? That's what it was. So I don't know why
Cool.
we're going here.
So I'm just trying to get clarity on your position, right? So you see each logia, okay, is that when things were created, or was it created before in Genesis 1:1, where it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth"?
Kalam, maybe we could have that discussion on another day or later on. But like, I thought you brought me on to talk about the waters
I did,
and
but
whether they were created or not.
unfortunately, yeah, I'm seeing that it starts really at the beginning, which is Genesis 1:1, where you believe that everything was created in that
No,
particular
I
moment.
believe the waters were created, and that I'm
Yes.
showing you that they were created. That's what I did.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So you're showing me that they were created, right? But
Yep.
we're seeing here that in Genesis 2, the waters was already there
No.
before God. Okay.
No.
Wait.
Where does it say that?
Wait. Let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. In Genesis 2, we see that the waters are already there before the logia takes place. The logia meaning the commandments of things being created. The only way that it can make sense for you is if you're saying Genesis 1:1 is when the waters were created in the first place. Does that make sense?
So listen, I don't know how you even said that, because the verse before that literally literally shows that there was a creation literally before that, and
So
the
you're
heavens
saying
and the earth were created already before the waters are even talked about. So I don't know
that's
how
that's
you could
that's that's the
how you could
that's the
switch it
point.
up and go to verse 2 and say, oh, in verse 2 the waters pre-existed the heavens and the earth, or something like. I don't know if that's your point, but how can you even jump that far, bro? It doesn't make any sense at all.
I
Okay,
don't see the
because
point of all this.
when you read this, right, and in terms of like biblical scholarship, they let you know that this is a title, this is a heading, okay, to say that in the beginning when God created the heavens and the earth, and then it continues the flow of conversation. But you're saying, from your understanding, in the beginning God created the heavens and earth, everything was created. Okay. And that's why the water is there in Genesis 2. Okay. And then Genesis 3 now, 1 verse 3 is, I don't know what you think that is, but you got to let me know so I can understand where you're coming from.
Bro, it's simple. This is what I'm telling you. It says in Genesis 1, it says, in the beginning. Whether you want to say when God created the heavens and the earth, or in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Simple. Right there is talking about our whole paradigm, creation.
Okay.
And then after
Cool.
that, it talks about the waters. And then after that, it talks about him separating the land and etc., separating the darkness from the light. And basically what he's doing is showing how he commanded these things and molded them and fine-tuned existence into the thing we see today, bro.
Amazing.
It's not, but by saying God created the heavens and the earth in Genesis 1:1, it's not saying he created them, boom, and they were perfect like we see them today. Right?
Okay, so this is, so you're making me understand your point a bit better now. So number one, Genesis 1:1, yeah, the heavens and earth was created, right? Genesis 1:3, we now have his commandments, the fine tuning of the heavens and earth, basically.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then Genesis
from
2,
Genesis 1 going all the way, and there's these in Psalms, there's Job, Jeremiah. There's a lot of
no.
books
We're
that
not
talk
we're
about.
not going to jump all the way over there. We're just dealing with one piece of literature, which is Genesis 1. And then Genesis 1:2, what you're saying that is about.
You said what? Genesis 1:2? What about it?
1:2. Yeah, what do you say that is about?
Brother, that's him fine-tuning creation.
Okay, so let me see if you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Genesis 1:1 is when you believe that God created the heavens and the earth, right? Genesis 1:3, yeah, is the logia. That's the first instance of the logia where he commands things, yeah, and then he makes things.
No,
Okay,
no, Kelvin,
that's Genesis.
Kelvin.
Okay, go ahead.
So do you
Correct
think right now? Do you think right now that everything that God commanded and said and did was recorded in Genesis? Or
don't
do you
believe
think?
so.
Do you think that? And just so, all right. Let me ask you this then. Do you think the things that we read in Genesis were created, like you're reading, were the only things that God commanded at that point or before that point, or is that what you think?
I'm reading it as a piece of literature. Whatever God or whatever the author says that God created, that is what he created.
And he says he created the waters and he created the earth and the universe. And then Psalms.
It doesn't say he created the universe. He created the heavens and the earth. If you want to interpret it as the universe, you can.
Bro,
But
is
that's
the
not what it
universe.
says.
It's the heavens and the
It's
earth
not the
is the
universe.
universe. Man.
It's not the universe. It's the
Okay,
heavens and the
so
earth.
prove to me that the heavens and the earth is not the universe.
It's you. You have to prove to me.
Oh, that's
What?
easy. I got that. That's easy.
No.
Just look at the definition of heaven.
Let Kalam go. Matter of fact, bro,
Just-
listen.
Bro,
We're
I
now
don't need
Bro,
to.
that's easy.
I don't need
That's
to.
the definition of heaven.
Kalam,
The burden of
let me
proof
just-
is on. The burden of proof is on you, right? You've made the claim that the heavens and earth is synonymous with the universe, right? I did make that claim. So if you want to make that claim, you're gonna have to prove it. I'm simply telling you what the actual literature says. He created the heavens and the earth.
Callum, can I interject here quickly for easy bands? Yeah, I want to ask.
No. Before
does-
you interject, I want to understand, right? Because in the future we may have this conversation. I really need to understand where his head is at, and I need to understand where every other religious person's head could potentially be at. Okay, so again, you said Genesis 1:1 is when the creation of the heavens and earth took place. I'm with you.
It's
Okay,
the universe.
that's your That's the universe, right?
Yeah.
That's your interpretation. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, we've jumped to Genesis 1:3. Okay, and that's where the beginning of the logia starts. Right, the logia is the commandments, and then God making things, or what you classify as the fine tuning of. I would assume
No.
the universe.
So you're reading your own things into it. I doubt the logia means that's the beginning of God creating things. I don't know if maybe you can bring the definition of that to prove that's what that means.
Okay,
because
that's the beginning
says in Genesis 1 in Genesis 1:1 that God created the heavens and the earth. So
Cool.
right there is where creation starts, bro.
Cool. That's fine. That's where creation starts. I've already agreed with you on that, right? I already agreed with you on that, right? I'm telling you basically that the first place that we see the commandments, right, or God speaking is in Genesis 1:3. And you said this is the fine tuning that takes place. And God said, let there be light. And then there was light. And God saw that light was good. And God divided it from light from darkness and so forth, right?
Mhm.
Like, that's the whole fine tuning that you said, the division of things and the fine tuning.
Which continues, and you can read instances of it in all these different books throughout the Old Testament. Yeah.
Cool. But I'm saying to you, yeah, that's where the commandments start, right? In the book of Genesis 1, that's where the commandments start.
Okay, so
am I wrong for
Kalam,
saying that?
So Kalam,
am I wrong for saying that?
And the reason why I asked you earlier, so do you think that the words that are in Genesis are the only words and commands that God made?
Bro,
I don't care.
Easy man. Let me ask Caleb. Let me interject quickly. You see Genesis 1 verse 2. You lot, I don't know why nobody's reading that, because the earth was formless.
I'm trying to get to there. I'm trying to get there.
What does that even mean? It was formless.
That's what we need to get to now. Yeah,
that's
so
where we've understood.
We've understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just can you confirm, right? Genesis 1, I already explained it to you. You've confirmed it with me, right? I'm saying to you, in the book of Genesis chapter 1, the first place we see the commandments or God saying things is 1:3, right? Do you agree with me saying that or not?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, Genesis 1:2, in your interpretation and your view, what does that mean?
Genesis 1:2. Like, what do you mean by
Yes.
that? Just read it.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. What does that mean to you?
Now, the earth was without form and void, meaning that the Earth was still coming, was still like, you know. All right. So have you watched? Let's go now to science, right? Or you know, have you watched
Blood, it's the
the creation
smoke,
of
easy
planets?
bands, man.
Hold on,
That's the
hold on,
void, the formless. It's the smoke.
hold on, hold on. Have you seen the creation of planets? How planets are created?
It was
Or
from the
have you seen the
total, the
story of the
formless
Earth
is the
itself?
gas, whatever.
Yeah, they start off as gas. They start off as gas, and
Yeah.
then particles start collecting, and they start, you know. So it's formless at first. It's void, right? And then it starts forming, bro. And then you find, you
Yeah.
know, it becomes molten, basically
Let me jump
volcanoes
I
everywhere
jump in here.
happening and stuff like that. So
Can I jump in
that
here?
whole description makes sense when you're
Kalam, can
looking
I
at
jump in here for a second?
physics.
You can in a minute, right? So you're saying to me, right? Genesis 1 is telling you that God created everything.
Mhm.
Genesis 2 is now telling you that
Fine tuning.
the earth was looking like a volcano. And then Genesis 1:3 is now the the speaking of things into creation.
No.
So okay. So Callum, yo, real talk. I gotta go, man. But look, I'll be back. Look, I'll probably be back in like 30 minutes or something if you guys are still on.
Don't
But
worry, I
listen,
got you, easy bands, man. I got you, this one.
yo, Kellen, but listen, you brought me on today, bro, and we even like discussed it earlier. Like, yo, we're about to talk about aseity and noon and the waters in Genesis, right? You said that the waters in Genesis are a parallel of noon in your story, and I was telling you they're not. The reason why, because God in our story, God created the waters, and then I took you to what is it?
It is
Psalms. What?
parallel, easy
Hold
bands,
on,
man. It
hold
is
on, hold on.
parallel, but just
Then
different
I took
view,
you.
innit?
Then I took you to Psalms 104, verse 5 to 9. And no, it wasn't that one. It was Psalms 148,
148.
verse 4 to 5. And I showed you where God directly and clearly creates the waters. That's what I came to talk about, brother. Now we're
But,
talking about next stuff
but
and
easy back.
diverting, but it is what it
Easy
is.
back. Can I ask you a question?
I thank you for having
It
me up.
said,
It's too bad I got to go, man.
you see, he ran out, Kalam. You made him run, you know.
No, he had to go. I'm not even going to say that he
yo,
had to run. I'm not saying he's running. I'm going to say he had to go. He's made it clear that he has to go. So we're not going to do that to him.
He ain't gotta go,
I respect
Kalam. You
easy
see
bands.
me pop up
respect.
He been talking
And fam,
about cooking me.
the guy that's saying that I want to run, yo, have him debate me next time I'm
He
on,
been
bro.
talking about cooking
Hey,
me.
hey, listen him.
You ain't got no frying
Cool.
pan.
Listen him.
You know I'm coming
All
for
So,
you.
so Callum,
I say the
right,
only
let's
problem.
everybody mute your mics real quickly. We're gonna have a can on first, and then just quickly like show whoever just flashes their camera on real quickly first is the first person to speak after a can. Okay, Asar is next. Cool. So, all right, Akan, talk to me. What are you saying?
so yeah, cool, man. Peace, first of all. Peace to the panel as well. Peace to the
Peace.
whole chat, everyone. You get me? Cool. So, so my point is where it says, and the earth was without form and void. Yeah. And it was in the abyss. The deep, void, and the darkness was upon the face of the deep. You see that word deep, that's waters, as well,
Yeah.
in Hebrew. But it's not used the word ma'im in it. That's abyss. I think it's used for something like let me double check. I think it's used
like
for
a deep
like the
ocean.
Leviathan and them things.
It can be used. Yeah. But go on. What are you saying?
Tehom. Yeah, the deep sea. You see what I'm saying? So basically, this water, this is not even water. It's like it's void, in it. It's tohu. So whatever this emptiness is, like what Easy Band says, which I learned already a couple years back, that it's the gas in it. Like the whole Genesis is really talking about the Big Bang. Remember, I'm Muslim, so us Muslims, we like to make fun of Genesis 1:1. But if you look at it at an unbiased point of view, you can see what's going on over there. It's like it's talking about the Big Bang, because you're focused on 1:3 because that's when the speech is in. But you see how you're saying 1:1 is like the beginning, like an entry. That could be included with 1:2 as well. Do you understand? So all of that could be the entry, and then 1:3 is the beginning of the creation, of the formation, or whatever's going on. But I don't see 1, 2, and 1, 1. I think they're the same in my eyes. It's talking about the same thing. And you got to remember, when it says Shemayim, it's got yim in it. So it's got the word water within the word heavens. So it's deeper than, there's a whole load of studying with just that verse alone. So
Okay. Yeah. I hear that. All right. Asa, what are you saying to me?
It sounds similar to Papyrus Laden 1350, which if you want to pull up is on sophiatopia.org. The only difference is we know light doesn't make sound. So that's why we have the great honker in our story, because we know the wave makes sound. And so without the wave, you get no light. You just have the pa'ut, a bunch of energy stored together in a singularity, which we call a pa'ut. And because you left out the sound, because light doesn't make sound, you probably need to add that to your Genesis story in the beginnings and how the waters start to evolve, and how our moon is all things, including the waters and what's in the waters and what's hidden from the waters. But it's not a bad story.
Yeah, it's not a bad story at all. Personally, I can see the Kemetic themes within this. I think it literally has. I'm not going to say that it copied or stole or nothing like that. If I was to put myself into Fantasyland, and I was an Egyptian running away with Moses, and then he produced this story, I would literally see the creation, the same thing. Like, in terms of, let's look at it as let's look at it like this. Let me give you a reading for this, right? In the beginning, we have practically the same thing with inside of Kemetic literature.
Yes.
What do we call that? What do we call that?
The like in the beginning, we're talking about the Zep Tepi.
There you go, Zep Tepi. Same thought. Reshith is to do with the head. Tepi is to do with the head of things, right? And then in there is, again, we've got another phrase for that as well, which is called the Erneteru, or in the time of the gods, or in the time of Ra, or in the time of whatever, right? And it starts off like that. Okay, and then it would be I would read this as this: in the beginning, in the the head of things, in creation of things, when God created the heavens and the earth. And it's telling us the earth didn't even exist at this point, because the earth was without form. Do you know if something has no form, that means it has no shape? If something is in a void, that means it doesn't technically exist. It's emptiness. There's no shape, no form. And darkness was upon the deep. You know what that tells me there? There was darkness. You know what else it tells me there? There's deep. You know what else it tells me there? And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. At that point, we now have, from a Kemetic standpoint, that can't possibly be the first movement or the first act of things, because there's movement. If something is hovering over something else, it can't technically be the first thing anyway. Technically, I hope that makes sense. For people who know a little bit of Aristotelian thinking, understands that in order for there to be up, down, left, and right, there must be space. In order for there to be a direction, there must be a point, then a line, and so forth. But I don't want to lose people, right? So we already know that this technically speaking isn't the beginning, but let's just pretend that it is the beginning. You know what else I see there? When you go into the reading of the word, it says hovers over the face of the water. You know that word there means brood. It gives the imagery of a bird brooding over the waters, about to impregnate the waters and give birth to the waters, or give birth to something. That's how I read it personally. And then somebody might say, "But Kalam, you're a bit far with that, you know." And I'll say to you, in Kemetic way of thinking, We don't have ex nihilo. We have a cosmogony. We have things coming out from the one, things being born. And guess what we find as well within inside of Genesis 2:4? These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. So you're telling me that the heavens and the earth actually have children, generations. But anyways, that's a story for another day.
Kalam, I see what you had and done.
That's a story for another day. Yeah, I'm just saying, if I was a Kemetic,
for another day, so I know what.
I was a Kemetic, yeah, reading this in the time of Moses, I'd be like, yeah, this is familiar with me. I get down with this. We have the story of exactly this: the Nun, the Kek, which is the darkness. Yeah, we have what's it called? We have everything that you've got here. We've already got. The only thing that's different is that I can potentially see maybe the light. But again, Shu could be the light.
Raw, innit? Technically.
Nope.
So,
no, Shu would be the light.
Is there a parallel? Are you saying there's a parallel or copy?
I'm not saying it's a copy. I'm not going to say that.
I would say that the predecessor, definitely.
I would say that whenever this was written, they say that this was written within the sixth century. Let me tell you when this was written. Furthermore, let me tell you when this was written. Give me a second.
Kalam, they don't know.
I already know.
Christians don't know.
Now, biblical scholars, they say, here you go, authorship and dating, right?
They don't know either.
Authorship and dating. They say, here you go, the two stories, Elohim, and let's quickly go through. I know they don't know, but let's just quickly go through. Right. I'm sure they said something like the 6th and the 9th century, but really and truly, when this was all penned down, we have it is like the 3rd century BCE or the 2nd century BCE. That's when we have it penned down.
But here's the question: who wrote it?
That's the question.
Because according to
I can tell you, it was Egyptian speaking Jews and Greek speaking Jews and Egyptian speaking Jews. No, so it was like Egyptian. It was Egyptian, it was Greek, and it was Jew.
That's not what I mean. I mean, who wrote the original?
Hold on. 1 second. The first account in Genesis 1 to 1, 2, 3, is from what scholars call the priestly source, largely dated to the 6th century BC. In this story, Elohim, the generic word for God, creates the heavens and earth in 6 days and rests on, blesses, and sanctifies on the 7th. Then there's the Yahweh's one that says is commonly dated to the 10th or the 9th century BC. That's the other one. That's the second story of creation within inside of Genesis. But the first one was in the 6th century BC.
So how do they pin that down, Kalam?
We'll have to go into the scholarship and see how they.
That's mostly
based on linguistics.
Testament, though. That's like,
it's based on linguistics, the language of the language of the text. That's why they can date it to certain time periods.
That's one thing. But there's other things. There's other things that they would use.
Old English. That's what it is.
What you say, big man?
But again, like sometimes,
but
like, when we're dealing with religious stuff, I know people. We know it from the religious side, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, can we just like delve into it from like the academic side and see what it says and just think a bit outside of the box, a little bit outside of the box?
No, Kalam, because it's a religious book. That is why you have to look at it religiously. It's not a history. That's why they had to dig deep and flip it around and smack it up to make it say what they wanted to say.
But if it's plagiarized and it's showing lies against another culture, it should be brought out.
I wouldn't say it's plagiarized because I think it's
created. It definitely is.
I would say,
how is it plagiarized?
Plagiarism, right, is a direct copying. Okay, I would say that when you're living within inside of the same environment, and these stories are floating around.
Not necessarily.
And there's also Mesopotamian stories that is circulating within it as well.
Then everyone, safe to say, everyone on the panel, it's safe to say that the Khans, they plagiarized the Egyptian stories, bro. They stole it.
They stole it. Period.
No,
period.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Here's why I say they stole
Them
it. The
ninjas,
reason
them
why
Ghanaians stole them Yorubas, stole
Don't
the
do that.
Egyptian stories, bro. If we're gonna play
yes,
them games.
because
All right, one mic at a time.
Because
Go ahead,
Christianity,
man.
because Christianity have its foundations on Egyptian historic events that it took them out of Egypt. So when they say that that this God did that for them, they tell them to lie against us, because if you look at Egyptian history, it showed that we never did that. There's no exodus of Egypt. There's no blah blah blah. But they
Who
want
told
to
you that?
still hold on. They want to steal our historical events, right, and make it into their own thing, which is plagiarism.
No, hold on.
What are you talking about? Wait.
Hold on.
So
Hold on.
wait. So are
It's
you
not-
Yeah.
saying
So when they say they
there
made the
was no
pyramids,
community in Egypt?
so when they
called,
say they made the pyramids, and
no
come to
one's
find
saying
out
they
it's a
made
lie.
the pyramids. I don't know what
Hold on,
scholarship.
hold on,
Okay,
hold on.
mute mic.
When they,
Go on.
Yeah,
when they
let
say
him make his
Moses,
point. Go ahead.
when they say Moses was in Egypt and Moses was never in Egypt, that's a lie. When you see that there was a big exodus out of Egypt, and you see that that's a lie, you can't just say one person is telling the truth and one person another person is telling the truth. Either one person is telling the truth or one person is telling a lie. And it seems to me,
knowledge.
based
1
off
second.
of-
Knowledge.
yeah, go ahead.
Knowledge. Could you repeat that again? Yeah, but you need to make it like we're on big TV screens. You need to make that a bit more dramatic. Yeah,
my bad.
bad. And the lie detector said, and the computer said,
Yeah,
that was a lie.
That
Can
was
you
a
repeat
lie.
that again, please? Go
That
on.
was a lie. They said, "Who's the father? Who's the father of Moses?" Oh, it was Egypt, and that's a lie. Oh, who Hebrews say, "Oh, they we came from them. We the ones that left from them. We came out of Egypt." And you go to a Egyptian scholar or somebody back in them times, and you say, "Oh, did this happen?" They're gonna say, "And that's a lie." You know what I'm saying? When you say, "Oh, well," so if the Hebrews is the ones that made the pyramids, we's the ones that was enslaved in Egypt. And then you go to Egyptologists and Egypt scholars, and you go to even go back to ancient Egypt. They're gonna say, "And that's a lie." So who's telling the truth and who's lying? And then let me ask you this: if it's not plagiarism, and you saying that, oh well, they didn't plagiarize,
Bruh, people's getting long speeches, boy.
if people are just getting out of nowhere, they just had this out of nowhere. Nah, this is definitely deliberate. This was intentional, and it was meant to disgrade or you know what I'm saying, just push aside the Egyptian history.
All right, we get the point. Let the other brother respond. So I can
And then they took the
You
history.
know what I mean?
And said
Like,
they
can
did
I
it,
breathe?
and you know damn
Is
well
it
it was a
alright
lie.
if I can breathe?
Go ahead.
Yeah, cool.
Go
So
ahead, man.
my question now is directed at you and Kalam. Yeah? Cool. Who do we get the Egyptian king's chronology from? Where do we get that info from?
We get it from King's List. We
The
do
monumental
cross-comparison.
hieroglyphs. The monumental hieroglyphs that's written on the wall of Egypt.
No.
Bruh.
Yeah.
We have to X you out. We have to X you out. Kalam, the King's List that we get today of Moses and all of them guys, who do we get that list from, that order?
We get various King's Lists from various different King's Lists. So there's loads of different King's Lists from the inscriptions. That's one place. Then we can cross-reference it with the cuneiform. What's those people called again? There's other cultures, Akkadians and so forth, that we cross-reference it with as well. Then we also get it from the Greeks, Manetho.
That's the critical side, though. What did he say? Manetho. Oh,
yeah, Manetho is one as well.
I was waiting for you to say that name.
Of course, she was waiting for it.
Alright, cool. So let's play with Manetho for a second, yeah. Is he a reliable source?
bro. Like, what's the point? I don't even. When people talk
Yes.
to me about reliable source here, I'm
The
like,
answer is
what?
yes. Yes.
I'm like,
Oh,
what the?
wait.
I'm like, what
Jose,
the
what
hell
did
is
he say,
this?
Jose? He said yes.
No,
Yes,
we're
it
not,
would
we're
be
not playing.
He said
considered
yes,
We're not playing
Captain.
those games, man.
Jose said yes, bro.
We're
What
not
did you
playing
say?
those games, man. We're not playing those games. Yeah,
Yeah.
because personally, no source is reliable to me. I'm a critical scholar. I'm a critical scholar. I need verification. I don't care about if you're trustworthy, if you're reliable or not. Can your stuff be verified? That's what I care
Cool.
about.
So let's look at the source, because
What is your point that you're trying to make?
this is where I'm coming into this. I'm about to land. So boom, according to Manetho, there was a Moses.
Okay.
Nah,
what's his
man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, brother,
What's
make
his
your point though.
Yeah,
Make your point, because
man.
I'm trying to get in. Make
And
your
where,
point, bro.
where in
what's
the where
his
in the
name?
hieroglyphs is he? Like, what's his
His
name?
name before Moses was called Osarseph, according to Manetho. Remember,
The
Manetho's
timeline
an
is
Egyptian what?
different. The
He's
timeline
an
is wrong
Egyptian
because
what?
the
He's an
timeline of
Egyptian
Moses
priest.
is the
Bro,
timeline
can
of
you
Ramesses.
let me breathe, man? I
Go ahead, my
definitely
okay.
let people breathe.
Yeah, but brother, make your point though, brother. You long-winded too.
My point is that the person that we rely on for the king's list has spoken of a man called Moses. Yeah, the leopard priest. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Asarseph, right?
Outside of him, what else you got?
Asarseph.
Outside of him, what
is
else you got?
Asarseph verified? Can we verify Asarseph?
We can't verify him, but the king.
Get him outside of that.
Bro,
get him outside of that.
Bro, let me breathe.
Bro, let him make his point so I can get in next. Go ahead, bro.
Man.
Yeah,
What
make
the
your point,
hell?
brother.
That's how I know people ain't listening. Cool. The king in his time, if I'm correct, is Amenhotep the third or something, or the second, something like that. Yeah. Basically, in the time of the Exodus, you have 3 pharaohs. So you have Tutmosis, the third, that was the pharaoh that didn't recognize Joseph. You have.
Bro, I'm too tired. Sorry. Stop,
this is academic. No. This is academic. You can't say tired. No, it's not.
It's not.
It's really not.
You for that.
Really
bro,
not.
you can't play those games. That's
it's really not, man.
All right, well, let me get in, bro. Let me get in.
Have time. I'm too tired to be doing that.
Let me get in, bro. I haven't even made one statement. It'd be so brief. Now, to the brother Assad, and when I say this, brother, you had enough time to speak. Let me get in, brother. Now, to the American brother on the panel, with all due respect, and I'm talking to you as another American. Now, when I took a DNA test, I have Nubian ancestry, so I'm not going to discredit our ancestors or disrespect them. But today, my question to you is, how is the Kmetic ideology stopping the turmoil and the subjugation that we are facing presently in the United States?
Colonialism. Pretty much is saying that it's like it's in a way colonizing our people in in Africa or in America, because it's saying that black people got it wrong and white people got it right. That's why you see all these white Jews and white Jesus and stuff like that. But the Egyptian, the people you have most connection to, they got it wrong. They were spooky, but they copy Egyptian history, events, and all this other stuff, and then lie and say, "Oh, there was plague in Egypt. Oh, they was believing in all different types of gods," not knowing that as African people, we have an ancestor. We call it ancestral veneration, whereas it's like we glorify our ancestors. So like it becomes like God. So seeing when Hebrews see this, they think that we idol worshiping, you know what I'm saying? But we look at our ancestors as gods because it's like we just glorify them.
I hear you, brother, but hear me out.
Let me
Hear me
finish.
out,
But
brother.
they saying that black people got it wrong and black people are cursed and white people got it right, when really they got it from Egypt culture.
Now, hold on, and now listen to what I'm saying. You see how I reduced all of my responses to you to one sentence because I'm trying to have a dialogue, brother. Our ancient Kemetic ancestors, they were conquered, brother, by the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabians, the Turks, etc. So yes, well, I'm trying to have a dialogue with the brother, please. So I go ahead, make your point, goddamn it, make your point.
the answer to the question is it doesn't help. And the reason why it doesn't help is because people like you have an ignorant opinion and have never read a text in their life or arguing something that they don't understand. That's why it doesn't
Well,
help.
I haven't even given my opinion yet, brother.
But,
So
but,
you're being
but, but hold
emotional.
on.
Well, you
It's
cut me off.
obvious.
You're being
But hold on.
emotional, brother.
Well,
I make your point. I'm gonna make mine. Go ahead.
it's obvious you've never read a text, because if you've read a text, you wouldn't talk that way. People who have read text understand
Yes.
that, so they don't have to ask.
Well, let's go one step at a time. Tell me what I said that was wrong.
I didn't say you say anything wrong. I answered the question.
Okay, brother. So you call me ignorant. What
I didn't say
led you to that conclusion?
I didn't use the word ignorant. Or did I? If I
What
did, I'm
led you?
sorry.
Well, go ahead.
I-
Make your point, brother. We listening.
The point is, if you read the text, you'll understand.
Yeah,
The
you said I haven't read a text,
Of course
implying
you
that what I
have.
said. Slow down, brother. Let's have a dialogue. You said I haven't read a text in my life, implying that what I said was wrong. So I'm asking you. I'm holding you accountable. What did I say that was wrong?
I didn't say you said anything wrong. I said it's clear. You
Uh huh.
asked the question. No,
And
hold
what
on,
led you
hold on,
to
hold on.
that conclusion is the
You
question,
asked the
brother.
question. Why is it not helping out? Why? What is the value of
No, that was not the question, brother. You're not listening.
So what
That's
was the
why it's
question?
best that you mute up, brother.
So
Mute
what
up and
was the
let's have a
question?
dialogue. The question is, how does re-implementing the religion, the ideology of our conquered ancestors, how does that help us today?
And here's my answer to the question.
Oh, it
Yes,
doesn't.
brother.
It
Hold
doesn't
on,
at
hold on.
all.
Here's my answer. From the time you asked that question, I shouldn't even bother responding, because you clearly don't even understand what you're saying. It's never going to help you, because you're making a statement about people being conquered that has nothing to do with you
Well,
implementing.
let's go one step at a time. With our Kemetic ancestors, were they not conquered by the Greeks, the Romans, the Turks,
That has
and
nothing
the
to do.
Arabians?
That has nothing to.
No, only Upper Egypt.
That's a
Lower
stupid
Egypt
question.
didn't.
So
It
we're
was
having that dialogue. Upper
That's a
Egypt was
stupid question.
conquered by the groups I just named, correct?
Yes,
And
yes, that's
but
correct.
let's have a dialogue. And today, Lower Egypt is also colonized by the Arabians. Matter of fact, Lower Egypt was also a part of the Ottoman Empire. That's a
Right,
Turkish empire.
right,
so
So
and
that means
Christian,
that, that means
and
that
they
they
were
were
Christian,
colonized by the Turks, brother. So the
and they're
question
wrong.
Christian.
is,
Yeah.
brother, let's have a
Wrong to
dialogue.
brother.
Mute up for a second. And this is for the listeners as well. This is a teachable moment.
Wrong to
The
brother.
question is, how does re-implementing the religion of our conquered ancestors help us today?
I answered your
Let
question.
me jump in on this, please.
They
Can I jump
don't.
in on this? Can I jump in? Yeah. Cool. I like to jump in. Let me just share the screen. And I'm just gonna say, personally, this is why I like Kemetic philosophy and culture, and the reason why I just believe that it's time. Can anybody hear me? Just making sure. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, bro.
Yeah, cool. I'm waiting for the time, and I'm hoping that we will have the time where we can actually create an Afro Renaissance. That's my whole ideology anyway. So I'll tell you, for me personally, it says here, the Renaissance is a period of history and a European cultural movement covering the 15th and 16th centuries. It marked the transition from the Middle Ages to modernity and was characterized by an effort to revive and surpass the ideas and achievements of classical antiquity. So some of us were trying to revive and surpass the ideas and achievement of classical antiquity. In this case, it would be the Kemetic antiquity. The Europeans, they pulled on the Romans and the Greeks, but let's just continue a bit. Associated with great social change in most fields and disciplines, including art, architecture, politics, literature, exploration, and science. The Renaissance was first centered in the Republic of Florence, then spread to the rest of Italy and later throughout Europe. The term Renaissance, rebirth, first appeared in the Lives of the Artist by Giorgio Vasari, while the corresponding French, etc., etc. The Renaissance intellectual basis was founded in its version of humanism, derived from the concept of Roman humanitas and the rediscovery of classical Greek philosophy, such as that of Protagoras, who said that man is the measure of all things. Although the invention of metal, movable type speed, the dissemination of ideas from the late 15th century, the changes of the Renaissance were not uniform across Europe. The first traces appear in Italy as early as the 13th century, in particular with the writings of Dante. Salute to Dante. So for me, I quite like the idea of pulling on the classics, pulling on things within side of antiquity to draw inspiration, revive certain things, and actually exceed certain things. I'm a person that loves history, by the way. I saw one of the greatest movements to ever take place within side of European history was the Renaissance. And us as Blacks and Africans, I think that we also deserve to have a Renaissance. And the best way to do it is to do exactly what the Europeans did. They pulled on the classics from antiquity. They pulled from the Greeks and the Romans. And it's only right that we pull also from one of our classics. Why don't we pull from Kemetic philosophy? You could choose any philosophy, any ancient one, by the way. Just pull from that, gain inspiration, and see how you can actually, better affect your life and change your surroundings. Because if we carry on doing exactly the same thing and going through the exact programs that media and whatever else from the up, politics and so forth is feeding us, we're just going to be doing everything the same as everybody else. But if we can just go back and do some Sankofa movements, right? For my Ghanaian brother, let's go back and do some Sankofa movements and pull from the ancients. Maybe, just maybe, we ourselves can actually have a rebirth. So that's my answer to that question.
And Kalam, I hear exactly what you're saying. But instead of revering or deifying our ancestors, we must see them as they are. They were human beings that failed in
100%.
certain ways, and they were successful in certain ways. So to have a dogmatic religious outlook on the ancient Kemetic people will lead us in the same direction, and we will suffer the same fate as our Kemetic ancestors, which is colonization and ethnic displacement, literally. So, in other words, to land my plane, yes, we are to respect our ancestors, but we are not to repeat the same mistakes that were detrimental to them.
So let me
Yeah,
say
I
this.
definitely hear that. We should definitely learn from the mistakes of our ancestors. And personally, I just want to make it clear to anybody, in terms of our heritage, the Egyptians are our ancestors, or my ancestors. But when in terms of genealogy, I haven't done a DNA test, but I don't even claim them as my genetic ancestors, by the way, just to make that clear. Right, just to make that clear, I don't even
Come
claim
on,
them as
my
my
brother.
genetic
Well,
ancestors.
everybody got ties to Egypt. Everybody, every African
I don't know.
ties to.
So let's
I don't know. I don't even care to. I like the fact. Hold on. I like the fact, that I am West African and West Indian, and I am
Well,
British.
a lot of Egyptians had that E1B1A, West African
No, that's fine.
DNA. So,
That's fine. That's fine. I'm saying anybody else, you lot can claim it. There's nothing wrong with claiming it as long as you can prove it, right? I simply haven't done my DNA test. Yeah, I haven't done my DNA test to see if it goes that far.
Conversation.
If it goes that far, but I know that I am of West Indian, and West African heritage, and I like to just pride myself on that.
But that's why it's better. That's why it's better because it's our people and it's what we did and it was what our culture did, and not taking on another person's culture and thinking we, Middle Easterns or we are, white people or stuff like that. Nah.
That's all. Have you taken a DNA test, brother?
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
I'm actually Congolese, so I would be the ding that did the Assyrian dance up in ancient Egypt, but and my family is
Maluba type people there.
Yeah, we the little people. I'm only 5'6" and 3/4, and the rest of my family they be like 5 foot and all that. Some of them is tall though, but that's what the mixture. For
the brother Jose. My bad. Yeah, go ahead, make your point.
Let me get in here real quick. So the reason why we would cling to ancient Kemetic texts and to follow the Shemsu Necha is because at that time you have a certain ethic code. Africans move better under an ethic code. They tend to make moves better when you have ethics in place as opposed to just free, carry on and do what you want, or even for the atheists who are very uninspired, use bad language, and tend to have some of the worst behavior. And not only that, the human beings are deified because they do great things. So the person who brought you the will should be venerated, because otherwise you'd be still walking or trying to ride horseback. So when they do great things, we acknowledge them. Just like you graduate from high school or college, you get acknowledged because you've achieved a certain level of greatness. And so this is one of the reasons why we deify and respect them. The other thing is because they told you, remember me, look at my way, look at this path and follow it. It says that in several texts. They want you to follow and move like them. They want you to improve upon what they left, which is exactly what happened. These are the inventors of science. They're your first dentists. They're your first doctors. They're your first this. When you see that in the schools, then you don't have the identity complex or the issue that you had in the 80s and 90s when we was like, well, where's the black people in these teachings? That's the stuff we would say when we would go to school. Y'all wouldn't have that issue now. This is one of the reasons why you fight for black history. But as soon as we say black history, then you, but not the Egyptians, but not that. And oh, we're Hebrew too. And you know, you
But hold on, but Assad, brother, can I please stop you right there to be brief? That's the
yeah,
point.
go ahead.
Literally, that's the point I was about to make. You realize that our ancestors are not just the Kemetic people. You even mentioned some of our other ancestors, such as the Hebrews, such as the Moors, such as
The
the Native
Ephraim.
American. Well, one mic at a time, brother. One mic at a time. So the
Right.
Kemetic,
So I was still talking, but you on my time. But go ahead.
exactly, and I'm gonna pass the mic right back to you, brother.
Go
So
ahead, family.
it's not just about remembering our Kemetic ancestors. It's about remembering all of our ancestors. Do you understand that?
Yeah, and no one said it was just about them, right? And so let me make this point to you, because all of them, including your Hebrew brethren that you named, were there. So that's another reason why you should, because your alphabet was made right there. So when you say let's not look at them, when that includes pretty much the conglomerate of most of the African continent, because you
Well, let's
have
have
a
a dialogue. When did I say don't look at
hold up,
them?
brother, one mic at a time, right? So you
But when
had
did
a
I say
whole
don't look at them, brother?
no, I'm saying if you had the whole conglomerate of most of Africa sitting there in a patch, creating some of the greatest things in civilization, we shouldn't point at when the Persians, the Europeans, and other black cultures jumped on them at the same time to win a fight. We
But
need to
brother,
look at
that's what happened, though, brother.
hold up, listen.
We cannot
We need
deny
to
our
look at the
history.
length of time that we kicked their butts until they figured out they had to gang up on us in order to take us down. And even when we fell, the length of time that we ruled is still longer than you've been in the United States.
And I'm not denying that part. But if we deny the tactics that were used against us to defeat us, we will continuously be defeated again. How you don't understand that?
Oh, we don't doubt that, but you're saying abandon what made you great in the first place because
When
you
did I
think
say?
that
Hold on. But when did I
those
say that?
tactics of somebody. That's what you told Kalam. You said,
Yeah. When did I say abandon
why
anything?
would we look at them and why would we look at trying to use their ethic codes when
No,
they
no,
got
you
and
misunderstood the
defeated?
question, brother, because
Okay.
you're emotional. What I
No, I'm
said
not
was,
emotional at all.
what I said.
That's
Well,
why I'm giving
let
you
me.
time to talk, and you keep hopping in when I'm talking.
Well, we're having a dialogue. Let me repeat what I said verbatim. What I said
Go ahead,
was,
man.
why would we re-implement the religion of our ancestors that were conquered? That doesn't mean that we shouldn't learn from the things that our ancestors did that were successful. But the question is, why would we box ourselves into a particular religion that
Huh.
did not save our ancestors from being colonized, conquered, and ethnically displaced? That was a
So let me
direct
say,
question.
yup, let me say it again because I believe we answered this in the beginning. Being a Shimsu nature established an ethic code, and Africans move best under an ethic code. And when you had that, it's when you were at your strongest. Religion didn't get you conquered. It was the ganging up of other cultures that got you conquered, and your lack of wanting to make weaponry because we were so courteous
And
and peaceful.
hold on,
Remember
brother
the
Assad.
pagans. Hold up, brother. Remember
Yes,
the
but
pagan. Hold up, brother.
you're speaking
Remember.
past me, brother. I
Hold up,
didn't say that.
brother. Remember the pagan
All right,
said at the time that the ancient Egyptians and the pagans ruled, the earth was the most peaceful. iambiculus.
Yes, but
For
brother, you're
quote.
preaching right now. Let's have a dialogue.
That's
The point
not
I'm making is this. The point I'm making is this. And I said it before. I actually responded to what you just said before, but you did not hear me. What I said was our Kemetic ancestors were not our only ancestors that created a code of conduct. Did you miss that part?
No, I think you missed the part when I told you several of our cultures were there when they were making those codes of conduct,
I
which
could
is why
interject
they
there.
relate to what you have today.
If I
And
can
that's why
interject
you
there.
can see the remnants of ancient Kemet in
Well,
what you have
Right.
today.
The
Well, let me
reason
wrap
why
it
we
up and I'll
should
pass it back
Remember,
to
I said the
Assad, brother.
Hebrews was there. Did you forget that part?
Exactly. Hold on, you just said it. You just said it. The Hebrews were there, and you mentioned our other ancestors. So the question was, and you did not answer it, why would we box ourselves into one particular religion, such as the Kemetic religion,
No one
when
told you you
because
had to.
we're not talking
Even
about
they didn't
religion
force
here.
you
We're
into
talking
that
about
either.
history.
exactly?
So
So just for the listeners,
even they didn't
make your
didn't
point.
box you into that as before. They had, in fact, over there you could worship how you wanted to worship.
Yes,
They didn't have a problem with that. And when you died, you could put it on your tombstone. The only thing over there, when they talked to you, they was going to call you an Egyptian name so that they can
exactly.
identify you with something familiar with them. It's
So just
simple
so
as
we
that. They
clear,
never.
so just so we clear,
But
brother,
but trying to be a
what make your
Hebrew
point?
messed you up in the Bible, and it messed you up after the Bible.
Well, that's
And
the
you don't
point right
have
there.
that today.
Well,
Assad,
Assad, hold
Assad,
on.
can I ask you a
Yes, sir.
question? Assad,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
you
Well, let me
see
say
how
one
you're trying
sentence.
to.
Let me say
I've not
one
even
sentence to the
spoken.
brother,
I've
and I'm
been
gonna pass it
listening.
back to Assad. Let me say one sentence, and I pass the
Go on,
mic.
go on.
Actually, and I think we were speaking past each other this whole discussion. We might have a point of agreement. If you're saying, and I've already said it, but if you're agreeing that we should not box ourselves into any particular religion and draw from all of the codes of conduct and all of the benefits of all of our ancestors, then you are in agreement with me. It's not just about Kemet. It's not about Hebrew Israelites. It's not just about the Moors. It's about the sum total of our ancestry.
All
Now
right.
go ahead, brother.
All right.
Correct. So when you talk about Shemsu Necher, remember each town had its own Necher. The reason they had its own Necher is because the Necher represented what that particular culture of black people
Can I?
thought was best in God. So you're
I saw.
looking at different
So you
cultures
see,
getting together
so
as it
Assad, you
is.
I
see,
saw.
each town was they all Egyptian or was it different people?
I saw.
Say,
Let me
say
help
that
you out.
again, brother Khan Jabba.
Was it all Egyptian people or was it different people in them towns?
I can't hear your last part. Was it all Egyptian people that?
You see, them towns you're saying that they worship different nature. Was all of them people Egyptians?
Yeah, because they lived in Egypt. So what Egypt is, when you start to actually study the culture, you have Maasai there,
Yeah, I
you
know
have
what Egypt
Congolese
is. You
there,
don't need
you
to go
got
through that.
yeah,
What
you
I
got
want to
all
know is,
types of African cultures sitting in a pot,
yeah.
and they're giving ideas about what God
So,
is, which is why the cosmogony and cosmology continue to evolve over time.
so what if
So
people
remember, it
claim? What if
starts with the
people claim?
Agdad.
What if people claim the Libyan ancestry, North Africa? What if they
Remember
don't
the
acknowledge
Libyan,
Egyptian?
yeah, remember the Well,
It was
remember
so
the
cool.
Libyan is the
It was so
Tibu
cool.
Libyan at the time, and they
Okay.
come from down south in Africa. So when
Yeah,
you
but
go to
I'm
the
saying,
scientific journal,
what if somebody's acknowledges that heritage and there's no trace of Egyptian that we can find? Like, are you gonna call them
you don't
people
need it.
Egyptian
You were a
people too?
Shemsu. So you see how the Greeks and the Persians became Shemsu also when they got over there? It's because it's not related to your culture per se. It's more related to your identity. It just happens our culture made it for the world. Remember, they call the
So
Greeks our children because we taught them. You
who's
get
R?
Zeus
Okay.
from
Hold on.
Who's
Hold on.
R
Hold on.
and
Hold on.
we?
Hold on.
This is where I
Hold
want
on.
to
Hold
know.
on. Hold
Who's
on.
the R and we?
you get
Hold
Yahweh
on.
from Zeus.
Hold on.
Aristeas letters.
So I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you guys. Sorry, family. It's only because it's almost midnight over here, and I need to go home. I'm just muting everybody. Just get everybody's mics muted. Yeah. It's yeah. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. That's what basically is. We've been running the show for almost 2 hours now. And I'm very much so tired. So I'm gonna let the show run a little bit longer. And I can just to quickly answer you that question. Kemet is an empire, is a nation. We're in England right now. we're British. Yeah, our ethnicity is what are you again? Gar or Tree or Fanti or Shanti. It doesn't matter. You can have different ethnicities. You can be from, you know, Sudani location. You can be from Arabia location. You could be from Syria location. You could be from Libya location. You could be from Chad location. The moment that you migrated into Kemet and you've chosen to abide by, you know, the Pharaonic rule, you know, and you've been, you know, cordially introduced into the community, you are now a part of the Kemetic people or the Kemeti. Hopefully that answered that question.
Let me. I could say
But yeah,
something. Now?
yeah, Jose, go ahead.
So what are you
Hold
saying
on,
that
hold on.
no, can I talk, bro?
Go on. Let me. I can
You
go
know
on.
what I
Go on.
mean?
Let Akan talk
hell,
because he
what the
didn't. He
hell
didn't
you
get to respond. He didn't respond. Go ahead.
Are you saying that the North Africans, the Libyans, was Kemites?
If they were part of the Ethiopian Empire, they were the Egyptian
Ethiopian?
Empire. Sorry, the Egyptian Empire, the Kemetic Empire. Then they would have been Kemetics.
What would the terminology would have been used for them? Exactly.
They will be part of the Henu. They will be part of the interior of Kemet. They will be Kemetians. They'll be the Remech. They will be the people.
That's what Remech.
Unless
Yeah. We even have Libyan leaders and kings in ancient Egypt called Tahak, Takhat. He was a Libyan leader in ancient Egypt.
Say that into the mic a little more. You sound far away, brother.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
There you go.
Yeah.
I said we even had Libyan kings in ancient Egypt. So if you look at Tahak,
But brother, that's not what he's asking. He's saying ethnically, and the answer is no. A Libyan ethnically is not Kemetic.
Yes.
Actually, the Libyans that were there were Tebel, so they wouldn't have looked like what you're talking about until the Persian era. So
there's
the black
different type of
Tebel
Libyans. You got the
clan,
black Libyans, bro.
which look similar to the Nahesi, are the ones that ruled early on. And your very first kings in Dynasty 0 were all Nahesi except for the one Libyan. Go ahead.
Okay.
You have black Libyans as well. There's
let's get Jose in. Let's get Jose in.
What I want to say is the brother asks a question, and you could tell by the way the brother's speaking and by the brother's name, it's falling on deaf ears to speak to him about what we're saying. So let's just talk to the general audience instead of wasting 15, 20 minutes arguing with him. Because he's not pro-African, and he doesn't love African people clearly, in my view. So it doesn't make any sense to argue with him about it. He's going to keep his view and let him keep his view. Africa has been one culture, and we love our culture. Our culture has been spread everywhere, and if he can't see that, then that is not our problem. We're not going to argue with him. Those who read it and see it understand the value in it. If he doesn't see the value, then
brother, you have a Spanish name. Your name is Jose.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question to my Kemetics. For those who are Kemetics, all right, let's get everybody to mute your mics. For those who are Kemetics, I want to know the answer to this question. I posted it up earlier on. Were the ancient Egyptians, what theology do you think the ancient Egyptians practice, or whatever it is, right? Or you could even say, oh, well, depending on which candidate. I just want to know, like, your first thing that comes to your mind. What were the ancient Egyptians in terms of theology?
I would say none. I don't like that word because the word theology confuses people. They didn't practice religion. They practiced ma'at, and that is it. Everything was ma'at, and that's the end of that. If you wasn't into ma'at, you got into problems. You got into fights, you got beat up, you got subdued, and that's how it worked.
So in terms of the neter or the neteru, what would you classify that as?
Kemetic spirituality is Kemetic spirituality. It's not, I wouldn't say religion because religion confuses people.
But I wouldn't.
And that's the best word I could figure out. That may not be appropriate, but that's the best word I could use. Because religion is not the same thing.
How would you translate the term neter to nature?
Nature is everything. Because it's used to describe the divine, it's used to describe the ancestors, it's used to describe animals. So everything that in existence is considered nature. And
so that would be pantheistic then.
Say it again?
That would be pantheistic.
I don't like those words because they
you don't like it.
That's not a word that our ancestors would have used.
Okay,
So
cool.
in modern terms, we could use pantheism and religion, but that doesn't apply to them because they wouldn't have known those words.
Oh, what was the question
All
again?
right.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, what theology did the ancient Egyptians subscribe to? For example, were they monotheists? Were they polytheists? Were they henotheists? Were they were they panentheists? Were they pantheists? Were they monolatrists? Or whatever. What were they, in your opinion?
I think it's poly and monotheist. And I think that the separate, because I think more Upper Egypt was more polytheist and more of Southern Egypt was more monotheist. I think Southern Egypt was more into Amun. It's like one God type concept, or you could just say the sun god of Akhenaten. They kind of like going hand in hand, but Upper Egypt more polytheistic. But when it comes to how they worship these gods, it's not like idol worship like Western society today, but glorification of ancient peoples, ancient peoples. And I think it was glorified in a way that it became mythology. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Saw, what did you say? Saw, I just have to unmute your mic. Were the ancient Egyptians monotheistic, polytheistic, pantheistic, panentheistic, henotheistic? What were they?
Yeah, they're
Atheistic
definitely
even.
henotheists and pantheists. You even find atheists among them who said some things, which I showed the text to Saber Reggie, which he loves to quote nowadays. But definitely henotheists. And I want to where is it at? I want to show you just so we can kind of get Amen in perspective. I was going to take you guys to the pyramid text where it tells you I follow as a Shemsu Haru in the train of the Sar, but I'm having difficulty finding it at the moment, so we'll skip that. But let's go over here real quick. You mind if I share my screen?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Let me share my screen real quick so we can really look at Amun real quick. And we can also cover the universe. We can do it in one shot, just so that they can see what is and what's not. So this is chapter 90 of the Laden Papyrus 350, first one, 1213 BCE. And we're just going to skip down to the portion, right? So if you think Amun is just, he encompasses all the gods in his body, just like all the Neteru do. Remember, these are ideas from each other's clan, which includes the other clan's gods within them, their Neteru within them. So they're ideas of God. The Neteru are the celestial bodies. They're the ideas, they're the thoughts, they're the human beings, they're everything, because they're the separate individuality of the whole entire universe in its existence. So let's look real quick. The Ennead combined is your body. Every God joined in your body is your image. Every nature joined in his body is his image. This is Amun. You emerged first. You're inaugurated from the start. Amun, whose name is hidden from the Neteru, the gods. Oldest elder, more distinguished than these. Tatanin, who formed himself by himself as Ptah. The toes of his body are the 8. This is the Agdad. He appeared as Ra from noon. He appeared as a sun, as shining from the noon, so that he might rejuvenate. He sneezed as Atum from his mouth and gave birth to Shu and Tefnu, air and moisture. Combined in manifestation, he appears on his throne as his heart prompts, who through his power rules for himself all that is, who binds together for himself the kingship forever, down to eternity, established as the sole Lord. Now let's start to get into the scientific parts, which the Ami Unut, the hour watchers, who you call astronomers today, started to show
Brother,
for you
remember
and
you
why they
sharing the
thought
panel.
this.
Go ahead.
Don't interrupt right now, B. Sit back real quick. We've already shown that they're henotheists and that they're pantheists. Light was his coming into existence on the first occasion, with all that exists in stillness for awe of him. He honked by voice as the great honker, coming into a land that he created for himself while he was all alone. Light doesn't make sound. This is why you have another Necharu to show that sound created the light. And they go in depth into this in another text. Let's finish it out. He began speaking in the midst of silence, opening every eye and causing them to look. He began crying out while the world was in stillness. His yell circulated while he had no second, so that he might give birth to what is and cause them to live and cause every man to know the way to walk. Their hearts live when they see him. His are the effective forms of the Ennead. Go ahead, brothers.
Yo, come
Yes,
on. Listen, you know how hyped and gas I get you when Kemetic literature, yeah, is just, it's there for you to read, man. Ooh. Anyways, let me stop. Hey, but wait, I'm seeing a little bit of monotheism though. Where were you? Line.
Well, you got the henotheism because you have the Necharu inside him, and he is the one.
And allow me
Hold
to.
on. He says here, as the great honker coming into a land that he created for himself while he was alone, he began speaking in the midst of silence, opening every eye and causing them to look. So you say my man was alone though. So what? Isn't that monotheism there? I don't know. Tell me.
If you listen to Bruggish and Budge, you can move that way. But if you look at, there's another God inside of him. There's one of his toes are the 8, so he's made up of different natural. His face is all the gods put together. So yeah, you can push monotheistic if you like, but we don't have mono. We got gods in here. We got God.
Hold on. What God is inside of him? What God is inside of him? What God is inside of him? Hold on. You said a God is inside of him. What God is inside of him? Let me read this.
So Amun, whose name is hidden from the Necharu, oldest elder, the toes of his body are the 8. He appeared as Ra from noon. He sneezed as Atum. Look, he's transforming into different Necharu. They're talking about the different parts of his body. His mouth and gave birth to Shu and Tefnu. These Necharu were in him. Now, if we go to the other cosmogony, it's going to tell us that Osiris is the soul. His foundation was Ma'at when he had nowhere to stand. And when he sneezed, it was Shu. When he vomited, it was Tefnu. And they began to beget other Necharu, who began to beget other Necharu on down. And then they go into the creeping things, the spiders. It sound damn near just like the Bible. But that's the one.
Please allow me to answer the question.
That's the one right there.
This is to the host, Kalam, or the brother Asar, whoever can answer.
Does sound like ancestor glorification?
Well, one mic at a time, brother. I know y'all can hear me.
One mic at a time, quickly, because this is the last one before I have to close on the show.
Yes, very
Go
quickly.
ahead.
Now, Kalam or Asar, did any of what you read, did that stop the Arabians from taking over and conquering Egypt?
Yeah, at first, because the Arabians used to get subjugated to before they took it over. So remember, the Persians don't start winning until the end of the 26th dynasty. So before that time, you had thousands of years, even though they try to shrink it down to 3,000, knowing that the pyramids last aligned with the stars in 10,000 BC, astronomically, from astronomy and science. So we know that Africans had ruled for so long, it's in everybody's text. Eventually, people will get tired of you. So just because you lost a war over
Hold on. You can carry on the conversation off air real quickly. Jeremiah, who asked the question, who translated this text?
Who translated this text?
Yeah.
Wim Van Dien Dungeon. And Wim Van Dien Dungeon is pretty good. He's not the only one who translated this text. Was it Faulkner who did this? I think Miriam Lichtheim also has
Yeah.
a copy of the Leyden Papyrus, and when I got to read it, I translated some of the text myself as well to make sure that because sometimes they say stuff that's not the case.
Yeah.
So you got to
All
make
right,
sure
family.
that
Hold on. I've got to say we've reached the end of the show. We're hitting the 2-hour mark right now. So I'm shutting down the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Right now, I'm sending out the link. So if anybody want to join in, you can join in for the off-air show. But I want to keep it moving. It's midnight over here. Just yeah. So I need to leave the studio.
Kalam wife gonna snatch him up, man. We gonna just see her
it?
hand come through the screen.
You know,
Imitap say, but
Lord.
Imitap to all the brothers on the panel, especially my brother Jose.
Yeah, man.
Yes. All
Conjeva.
right, but stay on the panel. Stay on the panel because I want to. When I'm in the car, I want to be talking to you, man. Anyway. All right. So
I'm
peace
here.
and love, family. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I did a sacrifice for you guys. I am tired. You guys don't understand how tired I am, but I'm doing this for you. Yeah.
And hit the like
again,
on your way
if
out
you
the
lot
door,
ain't
man.
there you go, man. Show the love and support. Hit the like button. If you can't even put some bread up, yeah, to show some love and support, at least hit the like button. If you can't even hit the like button, at least do a comment. If you can't do a comment, at least share the video. Otherwise, bro, do you think do you know, yeah, I am so rotten that I don't even care, you know. I haven't been doing no Titans TV shows, yeah, because I don't really care to. I'd rather just enjoy my life. Yeah. And you know why?
Because life is good.
Already, and I'm selfish. I know this information. Yeah, life is good, man. I know this information myself already. I don't need to be sharing this with you guys. I share this with my children. All right. And it's up to you guys to catch up your goddamn selves. But we're doing this for you guys. So you know, at least show some acts. Show some reciprocity by actually supporting the channel. All right, because that's it. I'm here just for you guys. I don't really care to even do this stuff. I'm just doing it for you.
Kalam, your studio
is beautiful. Peace and love, family.
Your studio is beautiful.
Love, huh? Man. Love. Thank you. Beautiful. And if anybody would like to, you know when you guys say, Kalam, you should do some more shows in the studio. All right, cool. Yeah, let me tell you how much my lease is, my rent is. Yeah, who's willing to cover my rent? Let me show you the cameras. Who's willing to put up 10 bags per camera and 5 bags per lens? Who's willing to do all of those things? No one is. Yeah, but yeah, like, you want me to be doing this.
Like, yo, we're gonna get the black magic. It's all good, but the black magic still costs a G or some check.
There you go. But yeah, family, man. I mean, it's done. Okay, man, like Easy Band should be coming in. But let me just jump out. Ending the stream. Love you guys, and I'll catch you guys on another one. Peace.